press there. They get some ink into the ink ball, then they do a rolling motion.
I was going to say, it'd be hard to
They use a lot more ink. It's a thicker amount of ink that they're working with, but it's amazing. It works. You know.
You can tell when it's right by the pattern and it's working on the table.
No, you're listening to it.
Really?
Apart from listening to the press operating in the background, what you're listening for is that hiss. You can hear that certain hiss.
They're kind of like sticky sound.
Yeah, it tells you whether or not your ink. A good pressman will know by the hiss on his press or on these rollers here is do I have enough ink for what I'm doing? A really thick hiss like that means you got a lot on there. So that's what we know as the Leland quantity.
Did you know that?
Yes, because he. Okay.
Just once? No.
Until we are,
It's like rolling,
Every time.
rolling dough.
Yeah.
With the rolling pin, you kind of.
yeah. And every time you print one piece of paper, one of the two guys keeps his hands clean. But every time you print, you have to replace the ink. This is the same on a printing press today. It's just, in the system, you got to replace what you use. It's always doing that.
So you've got to do this for every impression?
Every impression. You have two guys operating the press. That's known as your tympan and your frisket. That's it. Photo op. Thank you. This was not an easy machine to operate every day. This is the equivalent of working a plow in the field. This is a job for big, burly guys with no necks.
Not me.
Not you. Nice and thin, nice long neck. That works well. You'd be a typesetter, a composer. Would be the genteel side of the trade. You get about 80 copies an hour on the presses. This is an exact copy of what Gutenberg was printing back in 1450. One page out of his famous book, the Gutenberg Bible.
So what's this?
Well, this open space right here, now Gutenberg printed the black, the text, right there.
Hand illuminator?
It's more than just an illustration, it's actually the initial. Remember, this is how they would break their text. The larger of that space, the larger the initial would fit into there, and that'd be a more important break in the text. So from paragraphs, chapters, to a book. This would be the break for a new book in the Bible. Gutenberg would print the black pages, let them dry, stack them up. You'd buy the entire book, the Bible, in signature form, in sheet form. Then take them down the street to the monastery. And you pay the monks to then finish the illustration of the book. So when they got finished with it,
That's another 5 years.
this is what your book would look like. So this happens to be, you got the name of the book at the top there, the Paraboles Solomus, the Parables of King Solomon. Trust me, any man that had 1,000 wives probably has a few stories to tell. Assuming, of course, you got a word in edgewise, which I find highly doubtful. Not the height of wisdom, having more than one wife. And then you notice the large initial. That's the letter P. You got your letter I on the side. All the other decorations. Every Gutenberg Bible in the world is unique. The black is always the same on the printed copies, but the artwork is always different. Depends on who did the work. At the Gutenberg Museum in Mainz, Germany, they have two Gutenberg Bibles open up to the same page. One was beautifully illuminated like this. The other one, he probably barely afford the book, and had one color initials. Very simple, very plain illustrations. All were very expensive though. This was not made for you and I. This is made for the people who bought, a $100,000 book. Gutenberg's printing this for the church and universities and places like that. It's a lectern Bible meant to be read to you on Sunday morning. It weighs about, when you close it up, it weighs 55 pounds.
Wow. So you think the price would have been about $100,000 equivalent to today's dollar? Or do you
The press, the book?
No, the price of
The price of the book? Yeah, it was equivalent. It was very, at the beginning, it was very similar to the price of a handwritten book. Now the price dropped dramatically over the next 10 or 15 years when they didn't sell them all. It was the remainder issue of trying to get rid of the books. Yes.
Yeah, but